Okay, let's review the homework problems that you turned in the last Monday, March 30th. I know it says March 23rd, but we all remember it was a week late. So, number one, based off the molecular polarity of water, which of the following molecules would be soluble in water? And of course the answer is A, glucose, methanol, and ethanol. 2, which of the following would be the strong electrolyte in the solution? And the answer is B, KCl, potassium chloride. Number 3, which of the following would be a weak electrolyte in solution? And of course that would be A, acetic acid. Number 4, which of the following, when dissolved in deionized water, would make a poor conducting solution? And of course that is B, sugar. The other two will form ions. Going on to 5, which of the following, when dissolved in deionized water, we just did that one. Number 6, for an experiment you are asked to prepare 2 moles of strong electrolyte solution. Which of the following salts would you use? And of course it needs to be A, an alkali salt. Number 7, which of the following substances would be a poor choice for making a conductive solution? Therefore it has to be something that doesn't conduct electricity. And that would be A here, with essentially dextrose, methanol, and ethanol. Number 5, which of the following would be soluble in water? Okay, and number 5 is 8. Sugar, sodium chloride, and HCl are all soluble in water. Going on then to 9, how you purify salt water so it can become potable. And the answer to number 9 is C. What you would do is you would distill it, leaving the salt behind. Number 10, which of the following would conduct electricity? And that would be letter B, sodium chloride solution. At what temperature would this salt water freeze? And that has to be below 0 degrees centigrade for B. Moving on to 12. You want to boil a pot of water containing salt. At what temperature would boiling begin? Well, it's boiling point elevation and freezing point depression. So a freezing point is below 0, and boiling point has to be above the normal boiling point, so it has to be above 100 degrees centigrade. So that would be C. 14. Which of the 13. What happens to the freezing point of water when ethylene glycol is added? Again, that's a colligative type of property. So the answer there is C. Ethylene glycol will interfere with the organization of water molecules during the freezing process, therefore reducing the freezing point of water. 14. Which of the following is a colligative property? And 14 is A, the boiling point elevation, because it depends upon the amount of material present. Which of the following is not a colligative property? And that would be B, the temperature of a solution. Which salt would lower the freezing point of a solvent the most? Therefore, you have to look at which one of those has the most species present. And that would be 1.25 of the sodium sulfate, because there are 3 species in solution, 2 sodium ions and 1 sulfate ion. Whereas A, even though it has a higher molar amount, it has only 2 different species there. Which would be the best method for raising the boiling point of water in a kettle by a few degrees? And the answer to that is B. Add some table salt to the water. Increasing the temperature doesn't do it. Increasing the temperature of the stove and the other things do not do it either. On 18, what will be the best method for lowering the freezing point of water in an ice tray in a freezer? And 18 also is C. Add some table salt to the water. 19. Patients entering the emergency room dehydrated are usually given sterile saline solution intravenously. the solution administered is isotonic to prevent cell damage. What would happen if the solution was hypotonic? And the answer to 19 is B. The hypotonic solution have lower osmotic pressure than that within the cell, so hemolysis can occur. And then the other side of that is what happens if a hypertonic solution. And for that, the answer is C. Hypotonic solutions have higher osmotic pressure. Hyper means high. Hypo means low. Okay? So that's why the prior one was lower. This one is higher osmotic pressure. So that within the cell, so crenation can occur. Number 21. Which type of solution has a lower osmotic pressure than within the cells? And that is B, a hypotonic solution. Which solution has a higher osmotic pressure than within the cells? And for 22, the answer is hypertonic. Which solution has the same osmotic pressure as within cells? And that is isotonic. Continuing on, 24, we have a potassium chloride solution is 0.5 molar. What's the osmolarity? And the answer to that would be A. It would be 1 osmol. A 45.8 grams of sodium chloride is dissolved in 500 milliliters of water. It's placed at a freezer at -1 degree overnight. Which statement best describes what would happen to the solution? And the answer there to 25 is A. The freezing point of sodium chloride would be -5.83 degrees centigrade solution, so the solution would not freeze. 26. How would you be able to increase the boiling point of water on a hot plate? And again, the answer is adding some sodium chloride to the water, which is the answer is C. 27. How would you increase the concentration of 1 molar sodium chloride solution? And the answer is B. Bring the solution to near boiling until the desired volume is achieved. So essentially you're boiling off the water, concentrating the salt in the solution. On 28, the solubility of sodium acetate in water is 1.23 grams per milliliter. What would be the best method for preparing a supersaturated sodium acetate solution? And the answer is A. Add 130 grams of sodium acetate to 100 milliliters at 80 degrees while stirring until all the solid dissolves. Then let the solution cool to room temperature. That's exactly the sort of experiment that we did when we were doing the hot ice lab experiment. That's all of the answers here. If you did not have this turned in by the time I post this, that means you did not get any credit for the homework assignment. Thank you very much, and we'll continue on with the next part.